Alrighty, people. So I've looked up the forecast here, and yeah, I just decided that I'm going to go on a road trip at a certain time. I knew I'd be able to get the van and everything finished quite easily. I got a chance today to use someone's carport, so I could change the oil without laying on the ground. And it did rain a little bit today, but it didn't matter because I was in a carport. And then I've said, well, you know, this is sort of the last thing I've got to do before the trip. And so I'll be getting up tomorrow morning, and I've got to go and, well, pay my phone bill actually, and fill up with fuel, and then take off. And I'll probably, you know, leave about lunchtime or something like that, and you know, have a shower before I go. And yeah, it looks like, well, here, this is the day we're going to be leaving, and the first night we're going to be sleeping. It's going to be a frost just below zero there, as you can see, just below freezing. And the next night it may also be a frost. So I was going to use these solar showers, and I don't know what 13 degrees Celsius is. I think it's like high 50s or something like that in Fahrenheit. I might be having a cold water shower. So yeah, I'm hoping to get away with not having a shower that night by sort of having one at lunchtime and leaving at lunchtime or something like that. And that'll be good enough. But I wasn't going to take firewood, you know. I got firewood. Gee, you know, not much room on. Said maybe I shouldn't bother taking any, and now I'm looking at all this saying, yeah, we're just taking firewood anyway. They've got fire pits there, and we might be bloody well using them. So anyway, that's in due course, you know. It's I'll you know, talk about the exact place. There's it's a place called Green Hill Lake. It's just out the front of this town, and I mean literally only like a mile out the front of this town. I used to, yeah, deliver stuff up there with a truck, and yeah, it's sort of funny. You could be there, and it's one of those joints where it's a little bit sort of marginal-ish farmland, but you get that strange sort of like a bit of a desert effect where it gets really cold. Like it's very, you know, quite warm during the day, warmer than most places, but then you get that like that real cold. And I remember being there at 8:30 in the morning, cloudless sky, sun's up, and I was delivering to this little minor farm supplies or hardware store or something there. They got a few of little, they got one big hardware store and a couple of little backwoods ones here and there. And I was delivering to one of those, and you know, we were sort of in the shade where I had the truck parked and all that, and like it was frickin' cold, you know, and the sun was starting to beam into the yard, but they had sort of, I think it was a tree or something, or it might have been just the way the place was. It wasn't sort of getting much light coming in, but it was just, like, it was funny that the sun was out and it was starting to warm up, you know, just starting to warm other places up, but it just, well, at least it should have been, but it was still freezing cold. And it's like, here when the sun comes up, like, you know, you give it half an hour to be warm. There, the sun had been up for a few hours and it was still bitterly cold. You know, it was like a real, like that bite in the air almost. I'm like, how the fuck is it like this? And it's 8:30 in the morning. Like, this should be, you know, should be well on its way by now. But, yeah. But anyway, that's where we go. Interesting thing to point out. And I'll probably mention in another video, I've been talking to the people who I house sit for, and they've been to this place, and they told me it's really good. And so I went and had a look at the Google Maps reviews, and some people say it's actually the best campsite in the state. So they gave us a bit of an explanation of it. It turns out there's actually a little boat club there when you initially come in, and then you've got to sort of go further past the boat club. And they were telling me that they went there, and there's a couple there they talked to, and now how's this? Would this fly in America? They have lived at this place you know, most people come in and camp there, blah, blah, blah. They're gone within a couple of days. They've been there for 2 years. I honestly can't understand how the fuck it is legal still. But there's not just that joint. They were telling me there's another place up north right up north, where they were and come across other people that have been there, you know, for more than a year. And this is the thing, there's some of these camp places where people just stay there for years. A lot of these local government things, they have a limit of like, you know, 2 or 3 weeks, and there's a couple of them that even give you a 2-month limit. You know, and it's just stunning that there's a couple of people that essentially have started living at some of these places, retirees and whatnot, and not really homeless bums, it just sort of retirees that sort of, you know, they don't feel a point and keep on moving on. They found their spot and you know, that's sort of they're right. And I find that a bit strange, to be honest. I was shocked to even hear there's 2-month limit for some. I thought most of it would only be 2 or 3 weeks, but yeah, anyway, I'll try and make sure I get these guys. They explained a little bit about, they've got a particular big rip in their annex. Annex is like a little tent thing you pitch out the front of your caravan, or what you know in the US as a camper trailer. For those of you who don't know, it's not an awning, it's like a whole tent that mounts on the side, and you put tent pegs in and everything. Many years ago, my parents had a caravan, and it had one on there, and I think he's still got some of the bits of tarp from it too. But anyway, apparently they were saying to me that this, like these people I house sit for, they were saying to me that this couple's been there for 2 years, and they've got an annex and it's got a great big tear on the side of it. So with a bit of luck, I might get them on the dash cam for you, because I am running a dash cam all the time in the van now. I didn't have a chip at one point because the fucking, I think one of the chips blew up. And I managed to find I had another chip in another, you know, chip laying around that had nothing on it. So I thought, rightio, and we smacked that in, and yeah, we're now got a chip in the dash cam.